NFL draft nerds and fans of the Ravens, Lions, Texans, and Rams, this show is for you. Obviously, very disappointing falling in the divisional round, but each of these teams has an opportunity, while the opportunities will be different, to get back on the saddle in 2025, to improve their rosters, to make sure they have the right coaches in place, and push forward to try to get to the ultimate grail, to host the Super Bowl trophy in 2025 and beyond. So that's what we're going to talk about here. 3-round mock draft for each of these divisional round losers. Really hopeful and excited for these football teams. I'm a Jags guy, so not so much the Texans, but I digress. Excited to get into this one. I think that each of these teams still has a bright future ahead of them. You just look at the quarterback situations. I don't think the Rams need to be doing anything at quarterback right now. You can be talking about quarterback of the future, but you have Matthew Stafford. You feel good about that. The Houston Texans, I think CJ Stroud is still, growth, development. It's not linear all the time. They need to improve. They need to improve up front in a big way. Not only from a personnel perspective, but they were not well coached on the offensive line this year. The Detroit Lions, yes, they could be losing their coordinators. Maybe both of them, probably both of them. Ben Johnson heading to Chicago. Aaron Glenn probably going to be the next head coach of the Jets or Saints. And then the Ravens, obviously Lamar Jackson, they're looking to get over the hump somehow, some way in the AFC that is just incredibly difficult to survive, right? So we're going to dive into it. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content here, it is all draft all the time at Rogue Football. So please like and subscribe. And as we go through this, let me know what you think about your team's picks, right? We're doing this over on the NFL Mock Draft Database Simulator, my favorite user experience. There could be a little bit less ads on the site, but overall, I really enjoy it. So trade offers, we're not going to do trades right now. The Texans, they have the first pick here, and they have 25, 58, and 89. Again, we're doing 3 rounds. Tyler Warren has fallen to 25, which is unthinkable, really, in my mind. I could not imagine Tyler Warren being available. And that would, not be the biggest need for the Texans. Absolutely, that's fair, but if you followed me here for any period of time, you know that I value talent over needs in the draft. I think free agency is more about needs. The draft should be more about talent. And for me, Tyler Warren is a top 10 talent in this class. In this situation, I would not be passing on Tyler Warren. I think the versatility, the physicality, the athleticism that he would bring to your offense, you can line him up at tight end, you can line him up on the ball, you can line him up in the slot, you can line him up at H-back, you can line him up at wildcat quarterback. He played quarterback in high school. He actually has a good arm, but his ability to run the ball, to block for your running game, to be a dynamic 3-level threat at receiver with his size, physicality, incredible hands, nimbleness at like 250, 260 pounds. Yeah, I mean, look, we're talking needs here. Yeah, we can go Tyler Booker, Armand M'Bou, Donovan Jackson, Jonas Avenea. We can absolutely do that. I would honestly say I think that the Texans' bigger issue with the offensive line this year was coaching than personnel. I really strongly believe that. And for me, the closest guy to Tyler Warren from a talent perspective would be another Tyler Booker. But I can't justify that. I could certainly sit here and talk up Harmon, Nolan, Williams all day at defensive tackle. Josh Connerly to protect CJ Stroud. Marcus Mbo to plug in on the interior and get a lot more athletic and physical and get some nastiness there with his, he'll snatch trap you to death. But I can't pass on Tyler Warren. Can't do it. That would be such a dynamic threat for this offense, a game-changing threat for this offense. And look, it's an offense that you have Nico Collins, who is absolutely incredible. Joe Mixon's still there. When's Tank Dell going to be back? Is he ever going to be back at 100%? We don't know. Stephon Diggs is a free agent. Tyler Warren. That changes the math, changes the equation for the Houston Texans. Texans fans, let me know what you think in the comment section below. And I don't think Tyler Warren's going to fall to 25, but this is a channel where we're exploring options. And there's guys that fall every year to different spots where you're just like, how in the hell did that happen? Happens every year. Maybe Colston Loveland comes off the board before Tyler Warren. You get a run on receivers, tackles, whatever it may be. The Rams sit here at 26, and they could certainly use tackle. They could use a pass catcher as well, because you don't know what the future is with Cooper Kupp. They need guys that can cover. I think Siobhan Ravel would have ended up being a top 10, at worst top 15 pick had he stayed healthy in 2024. That did not happen. I look at him as an extreme value at this spot. A position they need. I think he'd be a game changer for that defense. 6'3", 6'4", unbelievable athlete, length, sees the game very well. I think he can thrive in man or zone coverage. I think that'd be a great pick for the Rams there. Baltimore Ravens, they're up next. And you look at what's going to happen with Ronnie Stanley, we're not sure. If you want to replace Ronnie Stanley, I think Josh Connerly makes a ton of sense. If you want to continue to bolster the edge group, which I don't think they necessarily need to do that, and they've done such a tremendous job with that, both through the draft, but a lot of, through finding veterans that fit their system. They've done a really good job with that over the years. Tyler Booker, man. Tyler Booker would be my highest rated prospect here, along with Walter Nolan. I think that they have a lot of time, and they're paying Justin Madubuike to play the same role that Walter Nolan would play for them. So there's a team building aspect of it too, for sure. I think Tyler Booker just screams Baltimore Raven. His leadership, his tenacity, the length and strength that he brings to the tackle or to the guard position. I'd be a huge fan of that pick for the Ravens. Like I said, we're not going to do any trades. We're going to keep it simple, stupid here. Now, the Lions, they could certainly look to trade because, first 3 rounds only have 28 and 60 right now. That's not great. You want to have a little bit more than that to work with, especially when you're potentially losing both coordinators. I know that you can add talent to this defense. There's no question about that. And that might be the direction they should go. I think that they really need to consider, though, the interior of the offensive line. It's up there in age. A lot of those guys, I think that should be a strong consideration here. So who's going to present the best value for us in the trenches, basically, is going to be the biggest question for me. I like what the Lions have done with their secondary. From a talent perspective, I like what they've done at linebacker quite a bit. Aiden Hutchinson's fantastic. DJ Reader's really. You've got guys that you love. Aleem McNeil. So is there anybody who has more? For me, Armand M'Bou, Donovan Jackson, Jonas Avenea. And what Donovan Jackson has done as a tackle these last 4 weeks has been insane to see his development there. Even though he played guard most of his career, that's where he's been projected. He might be able to play tackle or guard for you and give you that ultimate versatility. Walter Nolan in this range is just, to me, a potential steal as a guy that could be a truly dynamic and unstoppable edge rusher on the interior. I love Tyleik Williams as well. Derek Harmon has more balance to his game. But, Ben Johnson heading out, you're going to need to make sure that you have the guys up front to continue moving this train forward with Jared Goff and company. I think getting younger and more athletic on the interior of the offensive line. I personally have M'Bou as a tackle, but I definitely think he can play guard. Jonas Avenea, Donovan Jackson. I think this is the direction we should be looking in here. as much as you want to say, man, they lost in the playoffs because they could not stop anybody. They couldn't stop the Commanders. Well, they couldn't stop the Commanders, and a big part of that was injuries on the defensive side of the ball. I think that the Lions' offensive line has been their identity, and it needs to continue to be that into the future. So we're going to take Armand Membu. I think just a tremendous fit, extremely young prospect out of Missouri, played right tackle for them, good athlete, good length, really flexible. So the Houston Texans are up here, and maybe we could consider, the trenches now at this spot. Matthew Golden would be a tremendous value at 58. I think Marcus Mbow, gosh, that's tough to pass up on there, in my opinion. And you look at Marcus Mbow, and they have him listed at tackle. I think he could play tackle. I think he could play guard. I think he could play center. I feel the same way about Gray Zabel. I think Marcus Mbow is just a more well-rounded athlete, a little bit nastier with his hands. I think that'd be a great fit for them. So that's what we're going to do. And whether he's upgrading center, you had Juice Scruggs not playing his best ball. You had some issues at guard. You're working on coaching up the interior of the offensive line better and the offensive line in general, but also working on the talent here. And you're trying to get this offense going in the right direction with C.J. Stroud in year 3. It wasn't the year they expected offensively. Injuries did play a big part of that, but I think coaching did as well. I think the offensive line talent did. So we're going to try to upgrade that there. And Marcus Mbow, for me, that's a tremendous value at that spot. You look at the Baltimore Ravens. Rashad Bateman obviously stepped up in a big way for them this year, and somebody I loved in the draft, and it's nice to see what he's able to do staying healthy. Unfortunately, Zay Flowers had his injuries. You don't need a receiver, in my opinion, but how do you get past these teams in the AFC if you're the Ravens? How do you get past the Bills? How do you get past the Kansas City Chiefs? And I don't know the right answer, but I do think you continue to draft the best players you possibly can and build out the best roster you possibly can. I don't think you go chasing, well, if we fix this part of our roster, we'll be fine. No, I think you get the best guys you can at every spot, in every spot, and hope for the best. I think that's all you can do here. Now, with adding a Matthew Golden, who, I think he doesn't have like great size. He's like about 6 feet, a little under 6 feet maybe, but really good athlete. I think dynamic route runner, dynamic explosiveness, athleticism, tremendous hands, ball tracking, 3-level threat. I think that he would be a tremendous fit there, but let's continue to look around. I also love Jaden Higgins, who would bring a different skill set to the receiver room. Without question, 6'4" and 215 pounds. I think Tez Johnson should be considered up here in the second round as well. Oh my goodness. Carson Schweschinger. Now, this is a conversation that needs to be had. Would be pairing up Carson Schweschinger with your boy in the middle there, one of the best linebackers in the game. Could that be the Ravens' trump card? They lost Patrick Queen this past year. Trenton Simpson came in, didn't do as well. I think long term you could be looking at next to Roquan. And look, Carson Schweschinger, great against the run. Like really, he doesn't miss tackles. He fits gaps well. He comes off blocks. His pass coverage ability is some of the best I've ever seen at linebacker. I think, yeah, that's the direction we got to go. That's it. That is it right there. Now you have maybe the best linebacker duo in football right off the bat. I view Schweschinger as a guy who has first-round talent at a position where it's devalued, clearly. Like, he has truly rare coverage ability at linebacker. Matthew Golden in Detroit would be a tremendous fit. Obviously, you have Amon-Ra, you have Jamison Williams, who Jamison is an up and down type of, kind of high variance player at times. Let's take a look at what we can do potentially on the defensive front. Yeah, there's some edge guys here. I value Ezraku a lot out of Boston College at this spot. I think, his length, the way he plays the game, he's not the biggest guy at like 250-ish pounds, but he plays with an edge against the run. An edge that I think would suit going to the Detroit Lions. But the best thing about his game is his length, athleticism, which those are both plus traits. They're not elite traits. But what is elite about his game is he has every pass rush move in the book. He's got it all. And I think that would be a tremendous fit for the Lions here. Going to make sure that we're not overlooking anything here, but I kind of see that, and I think that would be a special fit for them, just talent-wise and from a scheme perspective. Well, we don't know exactly what their scheme will be, but talent and culture perspective, right? I still have a tough time passing on Matthew Golden. I know they've got a lot of talent to feed the football to, so you don't need that. I think that he would give them one more piece to just really make it more difficult for defenses to account for. But I think we got to go Donovan Ezraku, or not Deion Walker, but Alfred Collins if he was available, or even Omar Norman Lott. I mean, two different types of guys. Alfred Collins, he's going to make it almost impossible for teams to run up the gut against you. And I know you have Aleem McNeil, so it's like, do you really need that as much? And DJ Reader potentially in the future. I don't know. Yeah. Let's go Ezraku. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below, Lions fans. Like, I do think Matthew Golden I have a higher grade on than Ezraku. Not like way higher. I think Matthew Golden is an early second round type of guy right now for me. And if he tests out of his mind, maybe he bumps up into the first for me. And Ezraku is in that same range. So I think the edge is certainly more of a need than receiver right now. Looking at the Texans here at pick 89, even though we added Tyler Warren, like, you still need somebody else. Like, you've got Nico and Tyler. You don't know what else you have from a pass catching standpoint. So is there a value there to be had? Jaden Higgins, tremendous. Tez Johnson, even though he probably is going to be in the same area of the field as a Tank Dell, primarily in the slot, I don't know when Tank Dell's playing football again. But Jaden Higgins, he's not the same athlete as Nico Collins, but he's a big boy like Nico with tremendous hands, great route runner, and physicality. I don't think it would be redundant at all having those two guys on the outside for you. Again, I'm trying to draft based on the best values I can find. Oh, we got Murray poking her head up here. Everybody say hi to Murray, being a derpy little girl. So again, is there a running back on the board that has that type of value? No. My guys at this spot are off the board. Now, I am a huge Damian Martinez fan. I love Kyle Monunga as well. Damian Martinez all the way down there. So I think that we could probably wait on that till the fourth round or something if you're looking to really get more physical in that running game. It's a tough spot. And Quinshawn is physical as heck as well. He's physical and explosive. I just don't think he has the dynamic rushing ability that some of the other runners have. I don't think you're getting a game changer across the defensive line at this point. You've got great edge players already. You could take Gray Zabel, and now with him and Marcus and Bo, you have two really good young offensive linemen that both have tackle experience and can both probably kick in and play on the interior. And you're just really saying, hey, we're committing from a personnel standpoint, and again, you've got to do it in the classroom and in the practice on the practice field. We're committing to this offensive line not being the issue that it was in 2024. I would not have a single problem with that. But from a talent perspective, I'm not passing up on Jaden Higgins. I know we kind of talked ourselves in a circle there. That's what I like to do, provide all the different angles. Jaden Higgins is so talented. I don't know why there's not more buzz on him in the second round. He's an early second round guy for me because at 6'4", 215, he sinks his hips. He gets in and out of his breaks. He is able to create separation at the pivot point, not by pushing off, but by using those subtle shoulder leans, the elbows, the forearms, and again, by being a better, more flexible athlete than you would expect at his size. Now with the Los Angeles Rams, we've got two more picks at 90 and 100. I think Gray Zabel would be a very good candidate for them. Out of North Dakota State, absolutely dominated at North Dakota State at left tackle. But again, I think he can potentially move around the formation for you, do whatever you need. Chris Paul's off the board. They could certainly use a linebacker, though. That could be in the conversation. We got Siobhan Revelle to really kind of tidy up in the back end there. I do think Gray Zabel might be the best value for me on the board here. So that's the direction we're going to go. I think he's a flexible athlete, consistent hands, consistently reads the game well in front of him. Goodness gracious. This would be the Ravens almost every time they make a draft pick. I'm like, yeah, that was a damn good pick. And seeing these two, Tyler Booker and Carson Schwarzenegger, I would feel the same way. I don't think the Ravens need to draft a running back. Is there an edge or a defensive lineman that fits them at this point? If Kevin Winston was on the board, I think they would take him. So that's what we're going to do. He's coming off of injury as well, but probably a guy who you could talk about as an early second round prospect without the injury. Yeah. Pairing him up with the best safety in the league. Love that. So, yeah, how are we going to round this out for the Rams with the last pick? Tight end is a very, very talented position here. I like Luke Lachey. Rondé Gadsden? Yes. In Sean McVay's offense? Yes. Move him around the formation, create mismatches. He has length. He's a glorified power slot, right? He will get in there and try to block, but that's not going to be his primary role. Yeah. He can block in space. Just don't think you want him blocking guys like Jared Verse on the edge, right? So the Rams, Siobhan Revelle, Gray Zabel, Rondé Gadsden. Texans, Tyler Warren, Marcus Mbo, Jaden Higgins. We just made a conscious effort to make sure this offense is not stuttering or sputtering again in 2024 there. And with the Rams, you're just trying to push it forward. Again, I think Matthew Stafford's got to be the guy there. Maybe you look for a long-term potential quarterback, but I think you probably have a better chance of doing that in 2026 NFL draft. Armand Membu, Donovan Ezraku for the Lions. I think both these guys fit their MO, fit their culture, and they both bring great talent And then the Ravens, Tyler Booker, Carson Swishner, Kevin Winston, just great values at every spot for them. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe, and y'all have a good one.